Why do you subject yourself to this? What do you say to yourself when the crowds aren't cheering?
In an unprecedented interview, Dr. Phil sits down with former President Donald Trump at his Mar-a-Lago resort for a no-holds-barred conversation. This meeting comes on the heels of a monumental event in American history. A former president and current Republican frontrunner found guilty on 34 felony charges. The stakes couldn't be higher, and Dr. Phil promises to leave no stone unturned. From the moment Trump announced his candidacy in 2015, he's been the target of relentless attacks and legal battles. His opponents, driven by what he calls Trump derangement syndrome, will stop at nothing to see him fail.
A term that I know you've heard many times is called Trump derangement syndrome, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. In one way, we drive them totally crazy because we're doing the right thing.
But as Dr. Phil points out, this goes beyond mere political disagreements. The scales of justice seem to have been tipped against the former president, particularly in the recent New York trial. With a biased jury pool, a gag order preventing Trump from speaking freely, and his expert witness barred from testifying, the odds were stacked against him from the start.
The burden legally is on the prosecution, but logically
You're
with the
guilty
jury,
until proven innocent.
Trump faces an uphill battle, not just against his political opponents, but against a system that seems determined to bring him down. The New York trial is just the latest example of the prosecutorial abuse he's faced since entering the political arena. Dr. Phil, no stranger to the intricacies of the legal system, breaks down the ways in which the trial was rigged against the former president. From the biased judge to the cherry-picked jury, it's a stark reminder of the challenges Trump faces in his quest for justice.
that gets into the jury box if you take the witness stand. Again, that is black letter law. You can't let in unrelated things that have more prejudicial impact than probative nature.
And then there's the matter of witness intimidation. Trump reveals the shocking tactics employed by prosecutors in their relentless pursuit of his downfall.
What they've done to people that work for me is incredible. Incredible. The threats, the taking of a gentleman who's been with me for years and telling me he's going to jail for 15 years unless they say, and he went back to jail a second time.
It's a chilling reminder of the lengths some will go to in order to take down a political opponent. But despite the constant barrage of attacks, Trump remains undeterred. His dedication to the country and his belief in the importance of the upcoming election keep him going, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. As the interview progresses, Dr. Phil asks the question on everyone's mind: why do you subject yourself to this? It's a simple question, but one that cuts to the heart of who Donald Trump is and what drives him.
I view it, I think if my country weren't involved, because people say, the two questions, I get these questions from very tough guys like you, the biggest guys on Wall Street, the people that you read about, but they're tough men and women. But I have the question asked often is number one question again, how do you stand it? How do you do it? How do you get up in the morning and put your clothing on and go to work?
Trump's answer is revealing. For him, it's not about personal gain or ego. It's about the country he loves and the people he's sworn to serve. He sees the upcoming election as a turning point in American history, a chance to right the wrongs of the past and set the nation back on a path to greatness. But through it all, Trump remains resolute. He's a fighter, a man who refuses to back down in the face of adversity. And as Dr. Phil discovers over the course of their conversation, he's also a man of surprising depth and complexity. Behind the bravado and the headlines lies a dedicated father, a loyal friend, and a patriot who truly believes in the greatness of America. It's a side of Trump that few get to see, but one that Dr. Phil is determined to bring to light. As the interview winds to a close, Dr. Phil asks Trump one final question: what keeps you going? What gives you the strength to face the constant attacks and the seemingly endless legal battles? Trump's answer is simple, yet powerful. I do it for the people, he says. I do it because I believe in this country and I believe in the American dream. And I won't let anyone, no matter how powerful they may be, take that away from us. It's a message that resonates with millions of Americans, a rallying cry for those who feel left behind by a system that seems rigged against them. And it's a message that Dr. Phil believes needs to be heard now more than ever. In a world of fake news and partisan politics, this interview stands out as a beacon of truth and honesty. It's a rare glimpse into the mind of one of the most controversial and polarizing figures of our time. A man who has shaped the course of
We
American
are also
history
praying
and who
for the
continues to
people
fight
of
for what he believes
Puerto
in,
Rico.
no matter the cost. But more than that, it's a chance to be part of the conversation, to engage with the issues that matter most and to make your voice heard. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about: the power of ideas, the strength of conviction, and the unbreakable spirit of the American people. Trump's journey has been far from easy. He's faced countless obstacles and setbacks, from the Russia investigation to 2 impeachment trials. But through it all, he's remained focused on his mission to make America great again. It's a vision that has inspired millions of Americans, from the factory workers in the Rust Belt to the small business owners on Main Street. They see in Trump a champion for their cause, a man who understands their struggles and who is willing to fight for them no matter the cost. And fight he has. From the moment he took office, Trump has been a force to be reckoned with. He's taken on the establishment, challenged the status quo, and shaken up the political landscape in ways that few could have ever imagined. But it hasn't been without its challenges. Trump has faced resistance at every turn, from the media to the Democrats to even members of his own party. They've tried to undermine his every move, to paint him as a villain and a threat to democracy itself. But Trump has refused to back down. He's stood tall in the face of adversity, and he's continued to push forward with his agenda no matter the obstacles in his way. And now, as he faces perhaps the greatest challenge of his political career, he remains as defiant as ever. Convicted on 34 felony charges, he's staring down the barrel of a prison sentence that could put an end to his political ambitions once and for all. But as Dr. Phil discovers over the course of their conversation, Trump is far from finished. He's a man on a mission, driven by a deep sense of purpose and a fierce determination to see his vision for America realized. It's a vision that is at once both simple and profound. Trump believes in the power of the American people, in their resilience, their ingenuity, and their unbreakable spirit. He believes that together there is nothing we cannot achieve, no challenge we cannot overcome. And as he sits across from Dr. Phil, his eyes blazing with passion and conviction, it's clear that he will stop at nothing to make that vision a reality. It's a question that hangs heavy in the air, a reminder of the high stakes at play in this interview and in the larger political landscape. Will Trump's enemies succeed in their efforts to bring him down? Will they cheat? Will they lie? Will they do whatever it takes to stop him? Trump doesn't have the answers, but he knows one thing for certain. He will never stop fighting. He will never give up on his dream for America, no matter the cost. And as the interview comes to a close, Dr. Phil can't help but be inspired by the man sitting across from him. A man who has faced unimaginable adversity and yet still stands tall, still fights on, still believes in the greatness of America. It's a message that will stay with him long after the cameras stop rolling. A reminder of the power of the human spirit and the unbreakable bonds that tie us all together as Americans. And it's a message that he hopes will resonate with viewers across the country. A call to action to stand up, to speak out, and to never give up on the fight for a better tomorrow. In the end, that's what this interview is all about. It's not just about Donald Trump, the man or the politician. It's about the larger questions that define us as a nation, the values that we hold dear, and the future that we want to build together. And as Dr. Phil looks back on this historic conversation, he can't help but feel a sense of hope and optimism for what lies ahead. Because if there's one thing that this interview has shown, it's that the American spirit is alive and well, that there are still those among us who are willing to fight for what they believe in no matter the odds. And with leaders like Donald Trump at the helm, there's no telling what we can achieve, no limit to the greatness that we can aspire to as a nation. So let this interview be a call to action, a rallying cry for all those who still believe in the promise of America. Let it be a reminder that, even in our darkest hours, there is still light to be found, still hope to be had. And let it be a testament to the enduring strength and resilience of the American people, a people who will never give up, never back down, and never stop fighting for the country they love.